Bum, bring. Hey, it's a Friday morning bindy, which means baseball is back. Thank goodness for that. Welcome to the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcus Grant along with Parker Bell. Greg Bergman is, I guess, in the dentist chair somewhere.
Getting some work done.
Getting some work done, getting those pearly whites all shined up and spiffy and ready to go for next week. But hey, man, it's good to see you. It feels like it's been a while since you and I have been together on this thing.
Gosh, I think since last Thursday, so I'm happy to be back. You know, I've been all over the place this week, Marcus. I hit the ESPYs. I think I went somewhere in one of the other mornings. You start to lose track when you're going all over the place, but it's been a good week. I saw some of the Dodgers there at the ESPYs, but they didn't do media with me, unfortunately.
Yeah, I heard the Dodgers weren't particularly chatty on the red carpet. Who did you get to talk to? Did you get to talk to anybody when you were out there?
Yeah, I gotta talk to a lot of people. It was really interesting. An eclectic group, all the way from Will Howard to Sugar Ray Leonard. So
Wow.
there's gonna be a lot of content coming out soon. Stay tuned on ESPN Los Angeles. I think a lot of people are gonna enjoy some of the skits that we played with people. We had a lot of hoopers. It was fun.
All right, very cool. So you definitely be sure to check out all the ESPN Los Angeles social media channels for interesting, fun content from the ESPYs. Which, look, the ESPYs exist because it is the deadest couple of days on the sports calendar once the Major League Baseball All-Star Game is over.
Exactly. So. There was one that I felt that you would like, and everybody in the Blue Review chat would like as well. We have a new Dodger fan.
Okay.
And we have Dave Roberts and Mookie Betts to thank for this. The legendary Richard Kind.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, longtime comedian, and of course, one of the funniest guys around. I know he's doing that John Mulaney show on Netflix now. He approached me and was like, "Hey," and I go, "Whoa, Mr. Kind, you want to do an interview?" And I asked him, about his sports allegiance and everything. And when he was growing up, it was Philly, but now apparently he plays golf with Mookie and Dave Roberts, and he is currently a Dodgers fan. So
hey,
shout out to Richard Kind.
Very cool, Richard Kind. You mentioned comedian, character actor. Just a guy who's had a really long, successful Hollywood career. So hey, maybe he'd want to come on the Blue Review one time.
I might have to reach out
and hang out and chat with us for a little bit. So that's very cool. We'll get into a little bit of the second half of the season. Parker, you and I can kind of kick around what is going to be coming this weekend potentially with the Brewers coming to town. But first, I want to give a shout out to the folks at LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, transforming the travel experience. They are saving guest time. Looking forward to the People Mover train that should be coming early next year. So if you want more information, you can go to flylax.com/transforminglax. So, well, first, I didn't get your thoughts on, did you watch any of the All-Star game, the swing off, all that stuff? Your thoughts on that if you got to see it.
Yeah, I got a chance, to check it out. I know I was busy all over the weekend, over the week, but I did get a chance to watch the All-Star game. I thought that the swing off, and I know that we've been talking about it at the station throughout the week, I think it's worth maybe trying to get in conversations with Manfred. Like, hey, we already got ghost runners. Why not go a step further? I mean, I'm already like 60% in. I think it was tons of fun. Unfortunately, I think maybe Alden Gonzalez said what could have been Shohei blank and blank versus, Judge blank and blank was a little different because of the aspect of the All-Star game. Yeah. But to see Schwarbaum do his thing, I know how we feel about him over here in Dodgerland, but it was super exciting. I think that maybe they start exploring some new rules. Why not? Other sports, I think, need to start exploring new rules. We're an ever-changing society, so might as well be an ever-changing sport as well.
Yeah, I maybe this is me being sort of curmudgeonly. Like, I thought it was a lot of fun. I loved it for the All-Star game. I'm still kind of skeptical of it for like a regular season game because, like, yeah, it would be cool if it's like, Shohei, Freddie Freeman and like Teoscar Hernandez. But, if you start getting down to the, no offense, the Miguel Rojas's of the world, it's not quite as exciting here. But I do think we need to shake up something in extra innings. The automatic runner stinks. That's all.
Maybe if you make it to like the 15th, it's just okay.
Yeah,
whatever. At this point, it's out of our hands. Just have a little swing off.
Yeah, I was saying, like, I was gonna say like the 12th or something. Like, you get the 10th and the 11th to try to just play it out and win it. And if we get to the 12th inning, it's like, all right, let's go home. Let's figure this out.
I like it.
So, so that, obviously the All-Star game, a lot of fun. Kyle Schwarber was sort of the highlight there of the swing off and a little bit. So we'll see what happens, but definitely kind of a new wrinkle. That was a lot of cool things to watch. Dodgers back in action after having the week off, and they get back into it, having won back-to-back games for the first time in what seems like forever, coming off a 7-game losing streak. Mentioned this yesterday. I mean, for all the hand-wringing and all the stress of that 7-game losing streak, they win their final 2, Parker, before the break, and they have the second best record in all of baseball. They have a 5.5-game lead over the San Diego Padres in the division. How do you feel about the first half, and what are your expectations for the second half?
Oh, well, I mean, going into this All-Star break, obviously there was a lot of panic, a lot of shambles in not just the chat, but I know we always call you and the chat out, the guys all around, but it was all over the place. Everybody was saying that 7-game losing streak was just the end of the world. But I recognize that on the Blue Review here, we tried to remain calm and let people know things like this happen. I know 7 seems like a lot, but it's okay because blank, like you just said, they still have, one of the best records in baseball. They still are at the top of the NL West. So I was confident going into the All-Star break. I think that some guys started to find their bats at the right time. I know that Mookie's been struggling all season, but he's begun to hit the ball a little harder. So I think that maybe a little break can do him well. And we're going to find out this weekend to see if some of these guys really took the time to mentally reset and get back into it, Marcus. But I think going into this second half, it's all about Snell, Glasnow. Did they hold him on the IL a little longer? That way that they have a second half push. Were they really hurt? I think we're going to find out very soon, sooner than people realize. And that's going to be, honestly, for Dodger fans, exciting because you might get to see within this, half a month, your fully healthy squad.
Yeah, and I think that for me was one of the big things for the second half was getting the rotation in order, right? Like getting these guys back and starting to set up what your rotation is going to be for the postseason. We did get to see Glasnow just before the All-Star break, and he looked fantastic. He's getting the start tonight against Quinn Priester in their return. So another look at Glasnow. I mean, hopefully he gets a little bit of run support. That's always sort of been a problem. That was a problem during the losing streak. Obviously, you had guys pitching well, but not getting any runs behind them. Blake Snell, hopefully going to be back really soon. He was throwing to live hitters before the break, so the expectation is that he will be back and available really, really soon as well. Want to get your thoughts because I know there was some talk about maybe moving Dustin May to the bullpen. He had struggled leading up to the break. His last few starts have not been particularly good. Any feeling one way or another about what it would be like having May come out of the pen?
Well, I think the tough thing is just availability because certain guys kind of need longer days off. May being an opener, I have no issue with, but I know that it's been early in the games that he struggled. So it is a bit of a slippery slope there with Dustin. I know that there were a lot of trade talks, trade rumors around his name. Maybe for any basketball fans, maybe he'll pull a D'Lo. Anytime his name got mentioned in trade rumors, he's started to pick it up and was like the best player ever. So I think while it is a good idea, I am on the train of maybe keeping him as a starter for now. I think that's just where he's been his whole career, and it might kind of throw him off mentally if we put him in the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, my objection to putting him in the bullpen, and you sort of touched on it, is that his beginnings have not been great. The first inning that he's pitched usually has been kind of rocky, and that's a hard thing to ask for out of a reliever. Like you're bringing a guy in, and his job is to keep it close. Either you're protecting a lead, and his job is to sort of hold the other offense, or you're playing from behind, and again, the job is to hold the other offense to give you a chance to tie or take the lead. With a guy who tends to give up runs in the first inning, that's a little bit, kind of shaky right there. Yeah, Bubba Holmberg makes the point. Yes, he hadn't pitched in 2 years, and it definitely does take time. I think for the Dodgers, the issue is he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. And so while I think they would love to have the luxury of time to let him get right, then it becomes a financial issue. Like, do you want to bring him back at the number he's probably going to want? do you try to trade him and get something back? Because there's value there. So,
Yeah, and that's the other thing was, I saw in the chat as well. I think it was I lost it, maybe Sherry, but oh yeah, Sherry. If they put May in the bullpen, he'll be grouchy. And now, while I don't necessarily know him personally, I think just knowing starters and how their mind works, they're so competitive. I can assume that to be true. And while there are pros, you can maximize his velocity, swing and miss stuff. You can maybe reduce stress on his arm, and it might potentially be a positive for the longevity of his career. I think that the cons maybe outweigh it for this specific Dodger team, but it would allow them, honestly, some safety net in terms of like trading away an asset immediately. Uh, you wouldn't have to necessarily do that. If he does go to the bullpen, you'll have some more, more flexibility there.
Yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind too. I think the other part when you talk about bullpen is that there are arms coming back there as well. I mean, we talk about Glass now and Snell coming back in the rotation. Blake Trinan also looks like he's close to coming back as well, which gives you a little bit more flexibility. Takes some of the pressure off of Tanner Scott, off of Kirby Yates, two guys who have been worked very heavily and who've kind of struggled at times this year too. So I think anything to sort of just set this thing up. And I think that's kind of the goal, right? If you're Dave Roberts, if you're Andrew Friedman, now you get the next couple of months to kind of get your pitching set up. I mean, fingers crossed everybody stays healthy, but you can kind of start to see who will slot where, who's going to get those postseason innings. Our pal Jeff Spiegel's not here today. I know he's still very much on the Clayton Kershaw is going to pitch quality or significant innings. I won't say quality. We don't know that yet, but significant innings in the postseason. I'm skeptical. Greg is skeptical. I don't know how you feel about Kershaw maybe taking the ball in the playoffs.
I mean, okay, well, in the playoffs, yes, that is a big and deep conversation. I think that even the chat would really enjoy. It's honestly, it's very, I don't want to say emotional, but it's heavy to see this season with Kershaw. I think that because he means so much to not just this team, but the game of baseball, you want to see him have that postseason success, last hurrah. But if I'm being honest, I think I would, right now, my opinion, maybe an opener. If you're going to need it for that fifth, depending if the series is going long, then an opener. But honestly, you're not going to need it. If you're fully healthy, you're just not going to. And there's nothing wrong with that, but maybe he'll get an inning or two in there in a blowout. But shout out to Kersh.
Yeah, man. I mean, shout out to Kersh, right? He had a good day in the All-Star game. What probably is his last one. He was mic'd up, had a good time with it, seemed to enjoy the whole experience. So that was very, very cool. I think we start talking about Kershaw in the postseason. I think we all sort of hold our breath a little bit, especially when you've got the arms like Yamamoto, Glasnow, Snell, Ohtani, which, by the way, I mean, the idea of Ohtani getting ramped up and giving you 5 innings potentially in a playoff series, I mean, that feels pretty great at this point. Almost like playing with house money after the way he's just going 2 or 3 innings right now.
Yeah, we're so spoiled. We've seen Ohtani have legendary moments. We've seen him have big moments on the biggest stage, but this is going to be different. I think that no matter how often we talk about his greatness, I don't think there's a way we can trick our minds to understand how crazy this is going to be, because him pitching in the playoffs, I might just like melt.
I mean, it's so wild to watch him pitch, to go out there and throw 100 miles an hour and just like paint corners and then come to the plate and then, hit a bomb like 420 feet. Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we thought other fan bases hated the Dodgers now, which they do. They're going to absolutely despise them if he does something like that against them in the playoffs. I love it.
It's little league type stuff, right? It's like the one kid in every little league who could just do all of the things. Like that's Shohei, but doing it against the best players in the world, which is a ridiculous thing to say. Look at the chat. Kira suggesting maybe Kershaw opens for Ohtani. That would be interesting. I don't know if they want Ohtani as a bulk guy though. I think if they're going to throw Ohtani, I think they want him to open the game, right? Aaron Hanks saying it would be great if Glasnow was available. We are 3 or 4 in October. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm choosing to be optimistic. I think he'll be there for the playoffs. Look, he obviously missed a long stretch this year at the beginning of the season. So my belief, my hope is that he will be there for the playoffs. We were trying to come up with our rotation yesterday, Parker, for the postseason. And Greg and I both had Yamamoto up top. I had Snell 2, Ohtani 3, and then Glasnow 4. I think if I remember right, Greg he might have flip-flopped Ohtani and Snell as his 2 and 3. But what would you like to see for a postseason rotation for this team?
Fully healthy, Yama is my ace for sure. But I'm actually higher. Glass now, whatever everybody's gonna call him. I'm actually a lot higher on Tyler than others, and I get that he hasn't shown us that he can stay healthy, but I just think that his stuff is top 5 in the game when he's absolutely healthy. So I'm putting Glasnow at 2.
Okay.
And then I'll go, we have, of course, I mean, Ohtani healthy as well is pretty crazy, but I think I would put Snell, then Ohtani, just based off of, consistency and how often they've pitched. But I'm actually going to go all in on Glasnow being healthy. Put him at my 2. So
I'm sort of rethinking this in the sense of maybe I flip flop, Glasnow and Snell. Maybe make Glasnow my 3, not because of any sort of frustration or fear or anything like that. I do worry that you've got Ohtani, who I think right now, even in the best case scenario, is not going to give you more than 5 innings, right? I think so then that means you're sort of leaning on the bullpen. I don't know that I want to back him up with Snell, who's also a guy who generally only goes 5 innings, which means you're having kind of not bullpen games, but you're having to lean on that bullpen back-to-back nights. So I think I would probably go Yama, who can give you 7 when everything is good, and then Ohtani with gives you 5. You finish with a pen. Then Glasnow, who when he's right and is healthy,
will go 7.
You know, and so maybe that's the way to sort of to make this work and help the bullpen a little bit.
It's an interesting topic. I think I'll throw that on our socials today. Who is your ideal rotation when fully healthy? And is Ohtani, is he one of those where you're just so high on him because of the name? And of course he is great. But that's another player we haven't seen necessarily pitch in the playoffs. So outside of the World Baseball Classic, there's a lot of conversation there. I think that's a good post.
Yeah, it's a lot of conversation there as well. Now, I was looking at the pitching probables for the weekend with the Brewers in town for 3. Of course, the Dodgers went to Milwaukee, did not have a great time, losing all 3 to the Brewers there in Milwaukee. Tonight, Quinn Priester against Tyler Glasnow. That one starts at 7:10. Then on Saturday, Freddie Peralta, who threw well against the Dodgers last week. Now, it's listed as Emmett Sheehan. Shohei has been the Saturday guy. Do we think it's actually Shohei as the opener, so to speak, and then Sheehan coming in after him? Because that would seem to make more sense.
Yeah, obviously they haven't put anything out yet, and it does say listed Sheehan, but I think that would just make the most sense. And especially against this Brewers team, I think you need to make a statement. Honestly, what are they coming into the second half? I think they went into the break on a 7-game win streak. Obviously, at the beginning of that was a sweep of the Dodgers. So you got to put a statement out there against fastball Freddie. Yeah, put Shohei out there and have Sheehan kind of close it out because Sheehan's been dealing. But I think to really make a statement, Ohtani's got to be that guy who starts. So hopefully they do so. But if he's coming off the All-Star break with a little bit of fatigue because he's had to go all over the place, then I understand that as well.
Yeah, that's true. That is something to factor in. You talk about the swing off and why Ohtani wasn't in it. I think he was on a plane or at least at the airport.
I mean, Freddie had to have been because I saw his behind at the Red.
Yeah, I mean, by the time the swing off happened, I mean that was the reason. Part of the reason you didn't see Ohtani or Judge or anybody like that because some of the big stars who played early, once they were out of the game, some of those guys left the park. So.
They're like, we do this every year. We're good.
Yeah, I mean, like you do it every year. You don't really get that break with your family, your friends. At least try to get out of there, get a day or something to kind of get yourself reset before the season is starting again. So, for everybody who was like wondering why it was we didn't see some of those big names, because yes, Ohtani versus Judge in the swing off would have been absolutely epic if we had seen it. Other thing is the Dodgers do not see Jacob Mizorowski this weekend, which is probably for the best. Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Albeit Priester's been really good this season, as well as Freddie, the All-Star Peralta. But I think that not seeing Mizorowski, who's got some of the nastiest stuff in the game, is always a positive. And we need to see how these bats are after this All-Star break. I think that's the most expected, or the thing that we're hoping for to see the most, is just have these bats kind of turn things around after a small little break.
Yeah. Because you had a lot of guys who were just kind of going the wrong direction offensively. Andy Pages starting to slow down, so you wonder if maybe he could use the break a little bit. Still waiting for Mookie to look like Mookie. I think we're looking for Freddie to sort of bounce back a little bit too. And his swing and miss have been alarmingly high over the last couple of weeks. So hopefully that's able to kind of get right again. And then on top of that, still waiting for guys to get healthy, waiting for Kike Hernandez to come back. Max Muncy, last I saw, was riding a stationary bike. So that's a positive. Things are going to be progressing there. And then, of course, we'll get to the trade deadline in a couple of weeks as well. Had a good conversation with Bruce Kuntz yesterday. Yesterday.
I enjoyed watching that. That's shout out to Bruce, Long Beach's finest. And,
yeah, man.
Dear friend of mine, and of course, I know the mustache.
Because of like the mustache brigade, yes. The two of you guys, Anthony Jex and others, all part
Jex
of
here with the stash as well. Here, give some stash look.
There it is. There's the stash.
Well, the quality on our end didn't want to show the stash, but I think
all right, I think you can make it out. I believe in it. I know it's there. But Bruce is good. If you didn't get a chance to go to see that, go check it out from yesterday's Blue Review on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. A lot of good stuff about the prospects. I suspect we may be talking to Bruce again in a couple of weeks once the trade deadline passes. I ask you, between Michael Conforto and James Outman, which one is more likely to still be a Dodger when the trade deadline hits?
The thing that'll be difficult with Conforto, of course, is just the contract.
Yeah.
And how they can move that and what they'll actually get in return. I mean, it may be, this, that, and a bag of chips, which if they're desperately, if they want to offload him that much, then I guess they can do it. But I would say that Conforto I'm not going to say the next word, but Conforto will most likely be still the Dodger. I think that Outman, one team might take a flyer just based off of youth.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably it. Neither one, I think, brings you a whole lot of value. I feel like you're going to have to package them with something else, potentially, to get something back. So we'll see. I know Andrew Friedman is probably working on different permutations of things to kind of help bring some extra support back here to Los Angeles. So we'll
taking
a
look at the whole board.
Yep, take a look at the whole board for sure. So get started tonight, 7:10 at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers hosting the Brewers. Quinn Priester against Tyler Glasnow. On Saturday, Freddie Peralta against Emmett Sheehan. On Sunday, Jose Quintana taking on Clayton Kershaw. So we will be back with you on Monday to recap what happened over the weekend and have the second half off and running. So appreciate you guys in the chat for hanging out as always. Thanks to the folks at LAX as always as well. Stick around. First pitch coming up with Travis and DeMarco here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. No Bergie today, but hopefully he'll be back bright and shiny with a whole new set of chompers or something like that on Monday. So
I just realized first take. Maybe we'll have to get somebody else in there to talk baseball.
Maybe you can slide in there. You can go
also, Marcus, quick weekend question for everyone out there.
Yes.
I recently got judged for having one pillow. I guess it's just like boy core or being a young man. I don't know if I deserve the judgment. So hit me on socials or hit us in the YouTube chat. Did I deserve the hate for only having one pillow?
Seems sort of normal to just have one pillow. But
thank you.
Maybe I'm the weird one too. Also, I will be on this afternoon on Sedano and Cap. So come check us out. Anyway, stick around ESPN LA YouTube channel. Back with you on Monday, 8:30 to 8:55 here on the Blue Review. Have a great weekend, y'all. We'll see you Monday.
See you guys. The Blue Review.